is a seasoned player, so he knows what to do, I suppose. When a new game comes out, like myself, you play the game for 2 or 3 games, try and suss out what you have to do, and then go from there. And the light shows and that are part of the experience. And
so what's your highest score ever? What's your greatest game?
Well, that's a hard one to say, because each pinball game has their own kind of like scoring system. And in fact, back in the early 90s, they tried to outdo each other by making the scores bigger and bigger. And a couple of years ago, it was getting into the billions. You shoot one shot and you get a billion points, and it got ridiculous. So they brought it back down to the millions again. My highest score, well, each game's different, so you can't really compare them. But my favourite game is probably Twilight Zone, and I've got about 2.5 billion on that. And that took about half an hour. That was a long game.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's very addictive once you get into the parlour, the pinball parlour. You're sitting there, maybe you lose a game or two, lose a few balls. Do you just keep going?
Oh, you try to. Depends on the money. But yeah, you've got to try and beat the machine. That's the goal of the game, is to beat the machine. Each game will have keeps the top 5 scores, with the top score being the grand champion, and that never ever gets erased. Whereas the top 4 scores below it, after every certain amount of plays, at 3,000 plays, they'll be wiped and then you can start again. But the grand champion will never go away. So the grand champion on this, it may take a long time before somebody beats it. It may take a couple of years. Your name's always going to be on there.
So how did you get into playing pinball?
Well, I think I was around about 10 or so, and I was fascinated by just one that was local somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it was. I was always keen to play it, and then I was about 13, 14, a big arcade opened up close to where I lived, and they had lots of pinball machines, and I got right into it and learnt how to play and control the ball. But that's one of the big things with pinball, you've got to control the ball or else people get frustrated and don't play it. So I had the time.
And is that a misspent youth? Or?
Definitely. Almost failed school C because of it. My website is basically a directory of all pinball machines that I can find here in Wellington. So if you're looking for a particular game to play, you can go to my site and you should be able to find it in what location. And also list if it's a pub or a cafe or an arcade. So if you want a beer and play pinball, you should be able to find a machine at a pub, say. So every month I update it by going around and looking at sites, making sure the machines are on and working, and seeing what's around, and I keep track of what's going on actually, and it's quite good. Okay, this is a special edition Adam's Family. 1,000 of these were made a couple of years after the final Adam's Family was actually made. It's called the Gold Edition. It's got gold plated metal all over it and stuff like that, and it's got signed by the team who designed it, and only 1,000 were made worldwide, and there's 3 of these in Wellington, so it's quite special.
How do you get a replay and a multi-ball and all those things on here? What's the trick to scoring high on this game?
Well, you said the multi-ball is the trick to get the high score. You get the multi-ball started, and then you shoot for the jackpots, which means you have to shoot for the ramps. And that's where you get your big points. When you get your big points, you get the replay, and that's a free game for you. My last month survey, there's about 136 machines that I know about. There's others that I don't, but about 130 machines. Now that's actually down on last year. About the same time last year, it was about 160. So people are getting rid of their older games and not buying too many new ones.
Where did pinball come from?
Well, pinball was basically invented in the 1930s in the Depression in the United States. There wasn't any money, and so people couldn't do things. Somebody came up with an idea of a tabletop wooden machine with pins in it and a marble, and for a nickel, I think it was, you try and get the highest points by shooting the ball and getting to a 50-point score or a 20-point score, and it just took off because it was so cheap and people could afford to actually do it. And they made hundreds and thousands of these machines, and that's where pinball basically began. Then they added sound by putting bells on it, and then electricity came along, they put lights on it, and they kept the punters happy for a while. And then about 1947, after World War II, completely by accident, somebody invented the flipper, and that gave the player more control of the ball, and he could shoot it basically anywhere he wanted to. And try and save it from draining all the time. So from 1947 onwards, pinball was basically stayed the same, except the electronic age. You've got more toys, features, and sounds, and all your modern things. You get a few designers who like fast games, and you get other designers who like slow. You have to think about what you want to do next to get the maximum points. For example, in the corner here we've got a guy who's into his retro pinball design, so he's using a lot of stuff from the 50s, but using modern artwork and stuff, and innovations like the neon tube, which no pinball's ever used before.
Who plays pinball?
Mainly white males, or about 15 to say 30 years old is the demographic, but I've seen lots of different players. Lots more females playing it now too. Well, most people play at Time Out Extreme or Luna Park at the arcade because the machines are well looked after there, or they play at the cafes because there's a dedicated operator who likes to please his punters. As far as pubs go, they're slowly getting rid of their pinballs because pool tables are earning more money, but I'm sure that will come back as the cycle once returns.